Hello world, remember me? That's right, it's the Superfan. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to the Fonz's office. Fair warning to you all.
It's gonna get weird.
Just a little fair warning for you that in the Fonz's office, things tend to get a little weird from time to time, and I'm just giving you a little heads up. Tonight, I'm going to be discussing Battlefield Fight League's BFL 58, which goes down Saturday, November 17th, inside the Molson Canadian Theatre at the Hard Rock Casino Vancouver, located in Coquitlam, British Columbia. There's 9 fights so far on this fight card, and of those 9 fights, 6 are title fights. That's a pretty phenomenal amount. That's 2/3 of those fights being title fights on that main card. So, we're going to start the fights off in 155-pound amateur division with Braden Kersey versus Justin Daly. Next, we're moving on to also in the 155-pound amateur division. Joshua Ramirez is going to be stepping into the cage for his very first time as an MMA fighter. Props to you, brother. That takes a lot of courage, a lot of dedication, and a lot of cojones to get inside of there. Face off on a combat surface against a formidable opponent. For your first one is going to be Gursharan Singh. He's a 2-1 fighter currently, and he doesn't want to make that 2-2. So be forewarned. Next, we move on to the 205-pound amateur division, where Mazdak Porabahoil is going to be facing off against Lorenzo Celis. Then, we're moving on to the championship fights. First one of the night, Dalton Dupereau versus Jason Washington. This goes down in the 265-pound amateur division. Jason Washington, he's stepping into a title fight, and he's an MMA debut as well. Can you believe this? What an opportunity to step in there against the 4-0 Dupereau. Unfreaking believable. Next, we move on to Jericho Platon versus Mitch Strazella. These gentlemen are fighting for the 145-pound amateur belt, and that is going to be one heck of a barn burner itself. I'm going to skip over the next fight because I want to come back to it. So next I'm going to go to the Francis Tapias versus Indrop Singh. Indrup is also known as Super Singh, and I just called him Indrup Singh, but his name's actually Indrup Virk. He is the Super Singh, and I get all confused and excited when I hear somebody else that has the word super in their name. So, to you Super Singh, you got my backing, but I also have the backing of Francis Tapias as well, because you know, I vote for both fighters when they enter into that combat surface, and I hope for the best fight for both of them. And whoever comes out with their hand raised at the end of the night as the victor, congratulations to them. But to me, you both are victorious as soon as you walk onto that combat surface to square off against each other. So props to both of you. We're going to move on to the co-main event of the evening. Pardon me, there's the weirdness again, all shaking me up. So I think I better settle things down with a pull from my Kolab CBD vape pen. Now that's nice. They got some beautiful terpenes inside of these pens. This one happens to be green apple. And that helps to settle down old Soup's brain here. For those of you who know, I used to suffer from seizures until I started taking CBD. CBD has stopped those seizures, and that's a huge shout out initially to Truly High Concentrates, located. I can't tell you that because right now the laws are all kooky in Canada. So, Truly High Concentrates, thank you very much for your CBD and for helping me stop having them damn seizures that were keeping me all loopy in the brain. And to Kolab as well. Hey, these CBD vape pens are beautiful for when I'm on camera and doing these little videos. Now, On to that co-main event. Daniel Richard and CJ Strongheart. They're fighting for the 155-pound amateur belt. 3-3 Richard versus the 4-0 Strongheart. This here has the makings of a main event in its own. It only happens to be co-main event because the main event is a 265-pound pro title fight between Dustin Johnson and Cal Machado. Chow, I'm telling you, man, at a 1-0-1 record going up against a 4-0 Dustin Johnson, those kahunas are gotta be supersized, I'm telling you. Props to you and props to Johnson for both of you taking this fight and making this 265-pound pro fight a reality for us superfans out here in BFL land. Now I'm going to skip back down a couple fights to the one I skipped over. That being Dario Sinagogo versus Manny Fernandez. The reason I skipped over this fight, first off, it's a 170-pound amateur title fight. That 170-pound title fight in the amateurs has been vacated. There's a bit of controversy over the fight that resulted in that vacating because there was a disqualification, a title transfer, and then a title vacation. If I got that confused, I ain't going to blame it on the CBD pen, but I'm going to have another pull. I'm pretty certain that's how that whole situation transpired. What I do know for certain is that Austin Batra, Juggernaut, he flew in with his Batra bomb and he got himself disqualified after knocking out Perry Hayer within the first minute of that first round. Now, the reason that I came back to this is because between Mr. Sinagoga and Mr. Fernandez, I like both you guys, and I'm wishing that this fight could end in a draw. But I know that that isn't going to happen because both of you two warriors are going to be battling it out to the death, what we call in MMA, but to the common folk, to the spoils goes the victor. One of you two is going to put the other one flat on their back and more than likely leave them left unconscious. That's the reality of the MMA world. So, what happens next is don't think for one single cotton picking second that the juggernaut Austin Batra is not coming back for his belt. Be forewarned, both of you. Batra bomb was just the beginning. You guys are going to go in there knowing you're going to have to face the juggernaut, Austin Batra. You think you got the cojones to face each other? You're going to have supersized ones to face off against Batra. Because when he comes back for his belt, it ain't going to take him more than a minute of the first round to collect what's rightfully his. You don't believe me? Come out to BFL 58 on November 17th at the Hard Rock Casino, Vancouver in Coquitlam, British Columbia. You come on site, you find the Molson Canadian Theatre entrance, and you get your seat, you get your place, you get the best view possible to watch this amazing 6 title fight, main fight card. And you're going to get a hell of a lot more than your money's worth when Austin Batra comes back and puts that knowledge into your boy's head. He ain't done in the amateur 170-pound division, and he's coming for his belt before he does anything else. This is the Superfan signing out from the Fonz's office.